I've been impressed largely by the Canadiens and their ability to hang in this series. Like, I think they've answered a lot of questions as to like whether they're ready for this, but I don't think that they were ready for Tom Wilson.
Okay, we need to discuss Tom Wilson potentially taking another team because he doesn't take lives, he takes entire teams. The Canadiens won Game 3 at Centre Bell, and they were in a 2-2 game in the third period of Game 4 when Tom Wilson threw a big hit on Alexandre Carrier in the neutral zone. The Capitals then went on to score and added 2 empty netters to take a 3-1 series lead. Now, I should note that in 2021, I should say, Tom Wilson kind of did a little thing in front of the net with Pavel Buchnevich. I think it was Buchnevich. I know he did something with Panarin as well.
Yeah, he like body slammed Panarin.
Usually as his, yeah, but I think it was Buchnevich. Oh, you know what? I think it was like a hit on Buchnevich and then did something to Panarin's head.
Yep.
The point of it all is that we remember the reaction more than we remember what actually happened. And this, I think, is also happening in this series. The reaction, of course, was the Rangers calling it
an egregious act of violence.
Horrific act of violence.
Okay.
I think it was
horrifying act of violence.
Okay.
Horrifying act of violence.
That they found shocking with the NHL and their Department of Player Safety failed to take the appropriate action.
And they called for George Parros to lose his job even.
Yes, they said
they put out a statement.
Dangerous and reckless actions and said, we view this as a dereliction of duty by the NHL head of player safety, George Parros, and believe he is unfit to continue in his current role.
They broke out the source for this one.
Yeah, so Rangers catching a stray in this conversation. What a shame. And when members of the organization, key members of the organization, said to other people throughout the NHL, like, hey, just let it blow over. It's not that bad. Like, we didn't think it was that bad. It's just the owner's mad.
They were fired.
All those people got fired. And these were people who were good at their jobs. They... one of whom actually is now in charge with the Canadiens.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
a team that Jeff Gorton.
Yeah,
so
famously like put together a pretty good team both places.
Right. So that's all to say that happened with Tom Wilson in 2021, and as the Canadiens were so close to tying this series, and a Tom Wilson hit maybe threw them off their game a little bit, we got from Jakub Dobej, who was starting in place of the injured Sam Montembeault, said after the game that he wasn't sure whether the play should have been dead or what, because as I said, the Capitals scored shortly after that hit. Here is Jakub Dobej discussing the play.
It seemed like on the second goal when Carrier goes down, you must realize he's not going to be able to come back. And he's got to go to the bench. Did you figure there that you guys were in trouble?
Yeah, well, I was ready for the first shot. I don't even know what happened. I feel like it hit Cole and it bounced over my pads or something like that. It's, it's whatever, hockey, I guess. I felt like it's going to be a whistle because they were in their defensive zone and far away, but I guess, as I said, I don't really know the rules. I felt like it should have been a whistle, and I mean, it was kind of a scary hit, but I guess the rules don't apply for everyone in this league. I have no idea.
That is a very, very bad look. We can all agree.
Oh my God. I mean,
bad
like,
look.
I'm so torn on this because, like, I wish that he was 10 years older so I could be like, shut the fuck up, you loser. But he's 23 years old. He's a kid. Like, it's a tough situation to be in, but that ultimately is a horrible look for him and, by extension, the Canadiens.
My hope is that this is a Donovan McNabb situation in which he genuinely does not know the rules.
But even if you don't know the rules, there's nothing to consider in the rule book based off of what happened there.
Also,
it was a big hit in the neutral zone.
I was going to say, we all have to clarify, it wasn't a dirty hit.
No.
Like, obviously. It was a fine hit. It was a big hit, which Tom Wilson throws. And the question off of this is, have the Canadiens fallen into whatever the Rangers fell into a few years ago? Has Tom Wilson gotten so in their heads and broken their brains?
I don't know if he's broken their brains, but he has definitely gotten their heads. And I think that my big takeaway from this series so far has been, like, the Canadiens are, like, chasing Tom Wilson. It's obvious. Like, Josh Anderson is running around actively looking for Tom Wilson, and it does feel like he's kind of pulling them into his orbit without doing anything like himself. He's not going out of the way to do anything. But if there is an opportunity for him to insert himself in the series, he's absolutely taking it and doing it in a very effective manner. Like that to me is kind of the big takeaway, is that Tom Wilson is not Tom Wilson of yesteryear. Tom Wilson, when was the last time that Tom Wilson did anything that you looked at and was like, boy, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like him and Marchand have both kind of fully come around on. Well, Marchand still has a little bit.
I'm never fucking falling for that. Will never. No, he hasn't.
But like, when was
Love
the
you,
last,
Brad.
when
He's
was the
gonna
last
spear
time
somebody
Marchand
at
did
his Hall of
anything
Fame
that you were
speech.
like so stupid?
It's coming. He'll get the new contract and then he'll do it.
I mean, he's in a great position to do it now, because if
Definitely.
he gets himself suspended, it doesn't mean nearly as much to his team as it would have when he was on Boston.
But like, to the chaotic scale comparison, Tom Wilson is now just like, I think, strictly chaotic good.
Yeah.
Tom Wilson's. I mean, I'm years and years and years into. I mean, I was gonna say like I'd take that guy on my team, but like who the fuck would? That's not even a thought. That's not like everybody should. Tom Wilson's awesome.
I mean, we were in the middle of Four Nations, and they were saying that Tom Wilson was the solution to Canada's problems.
The only person not saying I take Tom Wilson on my team is Don Sweeney.
True.
Chunked it.
He literally didn't take him on his team.
Right. He said they said, "Would you take him on your team?" And he said, "No, no, no, no.
I'm worried about it.
No, there's a Tom Wilson component. And there's the not having Tom Wilson component. And it's already time to determine."
But yeah, I mean, like, I've been impressed largely by the Canadiens and their ability to hang in this series. Like, I think they've answered a lot of questions as to like whether they're ready for this, but I don't think that they were ready for Tom Wilson. And it is shocking that this is like the most hate-filled series in the playoffs so far.
Gold out of Pete Blackburn. The Canadiens were ready for the series. They were not ready for Tom Wilson. They were ready to play a top team in the league, the best team in the Eastern Conference. They could do that. Give them the Leafs. Maybe they would have done what they're doing against the Capitals, which is hanging in, but keeping these games sort of close, even when they shouldn't be hanging in and they are not the better team. But what they cannot handle is Tom Wilson. So I would say that the answer then is he has broken them, and he has broken their brains.
I mean, you've made the point. I feel like both of you have made the point many of times about how like you got to get to the playoffs and kind of get your ass kicked a little bit before you have a chance to like. I feel like these playoffs for the two young teams, the Senators and the Caps or the Habs, have driven home that point, especially game one with the Senators, where they were clearly just like not ready for the moment. And now the Habs and Tom Wilson, like they have, I feel like, proven how young they are and that it is a little bit of a problem for them.
Okay, can the Canadiens make it a series? They're down 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't been overly impressed by the way the Capitals have played. And somebody in the chat said, like, once Protas is back, it's 100% over. Like, I would agree with that. Protas is a massive difference maker for Washington. But like, I'm not willing to say the Canadiens are dead just yet. I thought that was a must-have game, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that games 1 and 4 are kind of must-haves. Where I thought the Canadiens could hang in this series, but they're unlike some other series we've seen where like a team will lose a 1-goal game and you're like, oh well, you know what? It showed that they can do this and that and stuff. Canadiens can't come away from games saying that they showed something. Canadiens have to come out of games just because their roster isn't good enough. And they're too small, and they're too young, and they're all these things that eventually won't be the case anymore. But right now they are. That when they're in a close game, when they're in a winnable game, they kind of have to win it. My answer to can they make it a series? Absolutely. Win one on the road, and then you're back at Centre Bell, and who knows? The Magic, the Ghosts, whatever it may be. And maybe that would be the first non-Alex Ovechkin broken leg dose of adversity. Although, as we've discussed, I don't think the Capitals know what adversity is.
I don't think they really know what diversity is either.
Yeah. But like maybe they just don't know how to process adversity because they don't understand it because they're so stupid, endearing.
I mean, I could see like what you said, kind of, they got to win the next one. Like if you're the Caps, put it away in game 5.
I thought you were saying the Canadiens. I was like, I agree.
No, the Caps, put it away in game 5, because if you have to go back to the Bell Center, game 6, That's a tough environment to be in. And then if you get to a game 7, all of the pressure is on Washington. Like you enter into a game 7 as the Canadiens, and you're just like, what do we have to lose? I mean, other than the series, but like nobody thought that they'd be there, and they kind of get freed up to just play however they want to. So Caps win game 5.
We all silly like the mayor.